Good morning. I know that I had said I would be doing these every day. It's just that life, that's all I can say is life. A lot of different moving parts going on. But I'm glad to be with you today. Just on a little side note, a lot of times we in life have to assume certain obligations. We're taking care of my wife's parents right now, and they're living with us, and it consumes a little bit of your extra time. So as you can see, I'm in my office. If you like this video, please share it. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that little thumbs up button. I appreciate it. What I want to talk about today is some ongoing news, which is very interesting. So as we know, in the United States, we continue to struggle with what's going on down in southern Texas, and as a Christian, we reach a perplexing kind of problem, because number one, you want to help people that need help, and we should. But there's so many other issues tangential to what's going on that you really wonder if what we're allowing to happen is helping people. I interviewed the governor of Louisiana's wife a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. We had 3 issues we were covering. One of them was child trafficking. And we sit here on the I-10 corridor, and the I-10, for those of you that are not aware, goes from Florida to California, and it goes right through a lot of southern states, one of which is Louisiana. It goes right through New Orleans. It goes right through Baton Rouge. And it is a highway that is used for child trafficking. And the governor's wife talked about it on my show, my Catholic television show, and it's a very serious problem. And one of the things that has been alleged is that a lot of the people in southern Texas, I'm using that word instead of using other words just so that YouTube doesn't ban me, because once I talked about something down there and they banned my video. But so you know what's going on in southern Texas and Arizona. So one of the suspicions is that this whole thing is playing right into the child trafficking issue, and this is why when you say we want to look at people's dignity and we want to help people in need, you wonder if we really are doing that. So with that having been said, let me just tell you what I have been able to ascertain from my research, and once again, I want to encourage you to, instead of watching mainstream media, instead of watching the news and letting them tell you what the statistics are, go get the statistics yourself. Let me just give you an example of why this is so important. We in Louisiana have a spike going on with COVID right now, and we're bombarded with hospitals saying that they're at 100% capacity, and it's 98% unvaccinated people, and then you go get the statistics, and you find out that in Louisiana we have at least 30% of our beds are unoccupied in the state, and of the ones that of the patients that are in there, not even half of them are COVID. 22% are COVID. That means that the majority of the people in the hospital are in hospital not for COVID but for something else. That's the statistics. I posted it on my Facebook channel because I got it from somebody that had sent the statistics from me, and these are from the Department of Hospitals in Louisiana, the actual numbers. But yet, if you go to the daily news, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Now, I just had a friend respond to my post and says, it's not the number of beds, they can't staff it. Well, that may be true, but that's a whole nother issue that has to be addressed in the realm of how do we make sure that we have enough staff for hospitals. That's not necessarily a COVID issue. So back to the child. What I'm talking about child trafficking is if you want to go get actual information, look at some other sources. First of all, might I suggest to you that instead of using Google as a search engine, go to DuckDuckGo. And if you don't want to know why, put something in Google and search it. And then go to DuckDuckGo and put something and search it and see how different the responses are. That's because one of them is screening the responses and one of them is not. It's a type of censorship. And so look where you go to research your information. So with that having been said, I'll just give you a little side note, then we'll get back to the children. It's been alleged, and somebody very close to me has pointed out just in our church that where with COVID-19 you had to be in close proximity to somebody for 15 minutes for that to give rise to a quarantine situation. Now you only have to be in a close proximity to somebody that's positive for a second. That's how harsh this variant is. Well, when you go research the source of that number, you find out that it's a mathematical extrapolation of some figures that have nothing to do with the virus and how long it lasts and all this. And you get to the heart that this is just a presumption that somebody made by doing a statistical analogy of some of the statistics to do with all this. If you got that number from a news source, you're going to think it's absolutely true and it's verified, but if you go find the source of it, you're going to find out that they say it's an unreliable number. So that having been said, I just urge you to go to sources where you can get to the heart of the issue, to the actual facts, to the data that substantiates whatever it is that the issue you're looking into is. Okay, so back to the children. You can find a lot of people that are alleging that what's in southern Texas is children. And in mainstream media you hear that these children have been separated from their parents and blah blah blah. Well, a lot of people think that these children have been abducted, that they are being trafficked. And if that's the case, that's a serious issue. In the prior administration, they closed down the border and we didn't have this kind of issue going on. Now the border's wide open. And so what do we have to show for it? Well, we have a lot of uncertainty. Now, one thing that is certain is that the adult migrants that have come across the border, an extraordinarily high percentage of them are carrying the virus, and they're being removed from Texas to other parts of the country, and with that removal is going the virus. And so we need to ask ourselves if this spike is happening because we're importing the virus from somewhere else after we had controlled it within our own borders. Might I suggest that we had this thing under control until some changes were made, primarily in this regard. I know this is a lot of confusing stuff, and I want it to be, because I want to encourage everybody to go do research for themselves and find out what is at the heart of everything. Now, my focus for these videos is spirituality, ethics, and then the news. That's the news part. Let me talk a little bit about spirituality, and I just want to make a comment about this weekend and the masses and the readings. In the Bible, 1 Kings, there's a story of Elijah, and he's sitting under a tree, and he asks the Lord to take him. He's worn out, he's exhausted, and he lays down, and he falls asleep, and an angel comes. The Lord sends an angel with food and nourishment and drink for Elijah to strengthen him for his journey. What it says is that Elijah was worn out. He had just had this confrontation with the prophets of Baal, the pagan prophets, and his God, our God, had succeeded in proving that our God was real. And they did that by putting a Holocaust and letting those gods, those 800 prophets, try to get their God to consume the Holocaust. It never did. And then Abraham built an altar, put the Holocaust on it, prayed to God. God consumed it. And at the end of that, they basically eliminated those 800 pagan prophets. They killed them. Okay? Well, after all of that, the king, Ahab, his wife, Jezebel, was furious because she's a pagan, and they came after Elijah. Well, he was worn out, and he laid down and was ready to just give it up, and God took care of him. My question to you is, are you worn out? Are you fatigued? Are you tired of all of this stuff that's going on? If so, let God take care of it for you. Turn it over to God. Turn it over to prayer. Turn it over to faith and not fear. Because one thing that I've been told, and I've preached this for many years, is faith and fear cannot exist in you at the same time. There's an old saying that says, fear knocked, faith answered, and nobody was there. So if you will allow your faith to enter yourself and overcome your fear, your mental perspective on things will be much more positive. And in that regard, you will be able to put up with all the negative stuff that you hear, that you see, and you can then look at the good part about life and what's going on. Listen, if you're alive, even if you've had the COVID and overcome it, you're blessed. You're blessed. Some people are sick. They're fighting it. That's the 1% or 2%. We pray for them. But if you're not, don't have fear. Have faith and be thankful to God for all the blessings that He has given you this day. I thank God every day for the immense amount of blessings He's given me, and I hope you do too. Last little note, this is a sports day for my family because my son is a sports radio guy, and today the LSU Tigers report for the first practice. They reported yesterday back to school. They practiced for the first time today, and that should give everybody a lot of things to look forward to. So let's hope that we can have our sports season this year, that we can have fans in the stands, and that we can, and hopefully we'll win and have something to cheer about. But even no matter who wins, let's let this be a sign that God has blessed us. Amen. Once again, please like the video, share the video, and please subscribe to the channel. God bless everybody.